on, guys? We are back on the bench. Today we've got the Axial UTB18 mini Capra. It's not going to look like this for much longer. This video we're going to go through. I've got the Gspeed GS-18 LCG chassis kit that the stock skid bolts into, and pretty much the whole thing transfers from this into a framed chassis. Or a chassis crawler. So we're going to get to taking this thing apart, and we'll start with putting everything that's on here on this new chassis, and then we'll start upgrading it in future videos piece by piece until we've got the ultimate comp rig in 18 scale. GS-18 chassis. Got some 3D printed sliders. We've got some body posts and spacers, standoffs. And then we've got the front bumper. These are all 3D printed, and the rear bumper. So first, let's start with the disassemble of the Capra. So we're going to take the wheels off. We're going to unbolt all the shocks. Then we're going to come under here and take this skid off and pull the cage off of it and start taking it apart piece by piece. I'm sure we'll have to get in here and pull the ESC off. Alright, so we've got the lid off now. I'm going to go ahead and pull apart these motor wires. And it looks like the servo wire runs back up through here. So we'll pull this, looks like the battery tray off. Should just be those two screws, and it should slide out of the way. And it's 1.5. There's a retainer in here that held all these wires. Here's the servo wire. Pull that off. Set this out of the way, and we shall tackle trying to get this receiver out, or the ESC / receiver. Doesn't look to be bolted in, so it should just pop out. We got all these light bar wires and everything. Get these disconnected. Battery plug. It looks to be everything, so this should just pop off. Yep. Just like that. Got this power button. Looks like it should just pop off too. Yep. Okay, so that's the ESC out with the power button and all the other stuff. Set that off to the side, and don't necessarily need this right now, or probably again. So we'll come back. Everybody knows I like to have the front end to the left side, and this should bolt right directly up to this GS-18 chassis by Team Gspeed. And it looks like we've got to pull these upper control arm bolts out. And then we'll come back in with this. You've got these outer two most holes are for the upper control arm bolts, and the inner two go to the skid. Alright, got those in, and then we'll come back with the screws from the skid, put those into the inner two most holes. Alright, and spin it around, do the exact same thing again. And you can tell that the flatter side is for the rear, and the front side has this big hoop with the front bumper mount locations. So now we'll come over here and do the same thing. This is just the beginning of the whole build. Alright, so I've got those on. Next is going to be the front bumper. I will note that you are going to want to get some extra screws. I've got a couple of boxes of extra screws laying around from plenty of other builds. I typically buy the Team K and K full bulk pack of screws. It's only like, I think it's about $40, and you get a bunch of screws. So this front bumper will sit inside of the chassis rails, like so. And now we'll find some screws to go into it. I didn't come prepared with having all the screws laid out, and the kit does not come with the screws. And one thing to note, when you're screwing into 3D printed items, you definitely do not want to over tighten them, because it will strip and you'll never get it to seat again. I have to go just until the drill stops. Alright, there's the front bumper. I guess I should have got some more screws, but grab some more screws for the rear bumper now. This one is the rear. These will be a little long, but I'll be able to change that later, because I'm going to have another kit of screws to be able to come through and make all this hardware steel. I prefer the stainless steel on black, I think it's a better look. It offset contrast. Alright, and then you've got, looks like we forgot the sliders, which will actually bolt here to the chassis bolts. I'm going to go ahead and grab some screws, and I'll be right back. Okay, so we get screws out, because that's all I need to go down. I'll leave my first side to go on. And hold our tight, so I can screw down into it. You know, just here. And I'm coming in, sit in spots, and screw it in. Alright, one sec, I'll go back and do it. Alright, so that is the sliders on, front and rear bumpers, and the chassis. Now, we're going to come through with these, I'm going to call them standoffs. We'll figure out how we want to place the shocks, which will probably be towards this very front upper hole on the back. I don't know if you can see that. There's two rows of holes. I'm going to go on the highest one, furthest forwards. And also on Gspeed's website, you can get these little standoffs, and they help make mounting the shocks a lot easier, because when you're right here, see if I can zoom this in, if you're right here, you're missing that space, and you don't want to pull the top of the shock over that way, because it won't articulate. So we're going to try to use some of these standoffs that I've got and see if they'll work. Maybe the factory screws will work too for the shocks for now. And yes, they do. So we will come in here with this. We'll put the flat side facing up. And then we're going to come back with the skid screws. Oh, those aren't the skid screws. These are the skid screws. And put them in the back because there are 3 holes on the side to bolt this into. I just need one for the front for the shock and one to hold the back side. So I'll come back in with another shock screw and a spacer. It'll go through the shock. So there's 3 holes on the back of this, which actually will work great if you've got one of the screw-on type body posts. I'm also not sure what body I'm putting on this, so if anybody has any input in the comments, let me know below. And we will look at putting a different body on here. We're going to kind of build this one as we go. I'm not going to buy all the parts like I normally do. We'll just kind of do it as we go, as I see fit. No rush to get this one built. That's not going to work. That screw's not long enough. Why is that one a different size? It's the same size. Alright, back to the screw box. If this one's long enough to, yeah, plenty. And we will go on probably the far back upper on this one as well, closest to the center of the chassis. Alright, and just like that, we've got the chassis swapped over from the Capra cage body over to the Gspeed GS-18 chassis. Now I'm going to end up getting different shocks so we can get it to sit a lot lower. I'm going to get the wheels, tires on, I'm going to get the ESC mounted back in, and then I will be right back. Here we go, guys. Here is the Axial Capra UTB18 Gspeed GS-18 chassis swap. As you saw, everything bolts right up. I'll leave a link in the description below where you can get this that I got. You can get either just the chassis, or you can do what I did and get the chassis with the spacers and the bumpers. So let me know if you guys have any suggestions for shocks. We are going to do a brushless swap. I have my head set on which one I'm going to do already. Haven't figured out a body yet. If anybody has any suggestions, leave them in the comments below. We'll build this thing as far as I can, and if you guys have some good suggestions, we'll get parts and build them with it too. So thanks for watching. Like, comment, subscribe. Let me know what you think. If you love it, if you hate it, what else we should do. And thanks for watching, guys.